We are Cactus Wrestling. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos.
Welcome to Cactus
When
Wrestling.
did you hit? Oh, sorry. When did you hit record?
Oh, we've
A
been
while,
recording.
a while ago. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Make
Go
sure
ahead.
you hit that like button and subscribe. Now, if you can already see the screen, this is about to get pretty heated. And we see the comments, and we see the Starace comments. And you're gonna have more Starace comments. Trust me.
Yeah.
But
Oh, yeah.
before we get into that, I want to just present a fun fact. Something that I learned yesterday that blew my mind. Get this, ready? This has nothing to do with wrestling.
Okay.
Did you know that Scooby Doo has a cousin named Scooby Dumb?
What?
You know what Scooby Doo's real full name is, don't you?
No.
Scoobert.
Oh, wait. Yes, I was gonna guess Scoop.
Yeah.
Well,
Dumb.
Doo has a cousin named Scooby Dumb. Look it up.
Weird.
He's real. And there you go. You're welcome.
Yeah. Fun fact of the day.
Now, let's get into the pound for pound rankings because my brother and I, Mike, were arguing over this list, and we couldn't come to an agreement. So that's why there's two lists.
I came up with my own list, which I separated over here. The order that I put it in, I listed it myself. So yes, all the hate can come towards me.
We're
but
talking pound for pound.
yes.
So this means if two guys matched up and they were at the same weight, theoretically, who would win? Basically.
Yeah.
Who's the best wrestler overall?
Yeah.
And I put Carter Starace, the guy who's a three-time NCAA champ, who has a 50-something win streak, hasn't lost in 3 seasons. He's beaten. So Mike actually helped me with my argument. The average place of all Americans he's beat is 3.5. So that's
That's the average place of the All-Americans he's beaten at NCAAs. I didn't actually make the full list of all All-Americans that he's beat, but
Got a
regardless,
backpedal
he's
here.
number one.
what?
He's number one. He's has the
Well, it's also not the same sample size. He's beaten only 7 compared to O'Toole, Arujau, and Brooks, who have beaten 9.
Look at him backpedal.
I'm not backpedaling.
So
Brooks has beaten 9 All-Americans, and he's 0.2 away from Starochi. Like, I also don't think that the average place of All-Americans beat is the only criteria that matters in this.
You're right. Brooks losing to an unknown.
Who's the unknown he beat or lost to?
Who did he lose to last season?
Marcus Coleman.
Yeah, he lost to Marcus Coleman. He took 5th.
Oh, did he? I thought he lost to somebody else. I thought he lost to somebody worse last season.
Talk about losing to an unknown. Starochi lost to Donnell Washington.
It's like freaking like 4 years ago.
But he lost to him. His 2 losses are to him and Kemmerer. And Kemmerer,
how you gonna hold that All-American
guy who's not even like that? Like, okay, he never won a national title. If you want to talk about Keegan O'Toole, his 3 career losses, 2 of which are to David Carr. David Carr is top 5 on both of our pound for pound rankings, and he's number 3 on Flo's pound for pound rankings.
And only a one-time national champion.
Okay. But Keegan O'Toole has beaten 2 different national champions. Starochi's only beaten 1 national champion. Starachi's only beaten 1 national champion. So he's beaten
Mekai Lewis
national champions. He's also had much more depth in his weight class at 165 than 174 has had in any of the years that Starace has been there.
I would argue people are running from him.
Okay.
Yep. David Carr doesn't want. Nobody wants to go up because they don't want the smoke.
Why would David Carr go up another weight class?
Because he's not beating Keegan O'Toole, who also doesn't want to go up. Keegan has said in interviews that he's going to go to 174, but he's waiting.
Has he said that, really?
Ben Askren says that he expected Keegan to go up earlier, but he's not. He hasn't gone up yet.
Well, he just won a world title. Like, what? He's clearly comfortable at the weight he's at.
He can win a world title at multiple weights.
Well, the argument here is I mean, there's not really much Srirachi can do competition wise. Like if that's the guys in his weight class, that's the guys in the weight.
Yeah, but that doesn't make him the best guy of every single weight class because he's beating worse competition.
But he
What could
hasn't
he do?
proven that
Yeah.
he will lose to anyone.
But he hasn't proven that he would beat anyone.
What else do you need him to do?
Yeah, what
What?
would Carter have
How
to
do
do
you
to
not
come out?
see the value in what Keegan O'Toole's done? Like,
I
aside
do.
from
He's
him
just,
losing twice to Carr, he would have a 49 match win streak.
but he lost twice.
Yeah, okay, to the same guy who's number 3 on Flo's pound for pound and number 5 on our pound for pounds.
Yeah, but David Carr also lost the season before.
Okay.
He
So
did. Yeah,
David Carr
he
be
did.
lower on the
He
pound for
lost to
pound?
the Oregon State
Well, no, I'm
guy.
just saying, like he's a guy that he didn't lose to some like undefeated guy, and it wasn't like a long time ago loss. He lost the year before
Right.
Early
at the
round
last
to
tournament of
Oregon
the year.
State. Willits.
Okay.
Yeah, who was not exactly known as a killer.
Okay.
And then that guy lost. And then how did David Carr then went on to beat Keegan O'Toole twice? I mean, associative property. I'd say Willits could have beaten Keegan.
All right, well, Mike,
No.
here, answer me this. You have Aaron Brooks number 1. So let's
Yeah.
get there because we're talking Starochi and O'Toole and Starachi, sorry. And I think I'm right there with you. I think they're definitely right next to each other. But why should Aaron Brooks be number 1?
Okay, well, he's also a 3-time champ, but he's also beaten 9 All-Americans, and I feel like he's had tougher paths. Like this past year, he beat, I think it was 4 of the All-Americans, and they were the guys that took second, third, and fourth, and then maybe one other one. Like overall, like, and Aaron Brooks is proving to be like very competitive with world stage guys on the senior level. Like Starochi can't make the world team. He like I Starachi can't make the world team. If Brooks and Starachi were in a match, I would bet the house on Brooks.
What would you bet the score would be though?
I say like.
Do you think? How about this? Do you think he majors him?
I don't know.
I think they know each other so well.
I don't think
I think
Brooks
it's a
is going to
one.
major.
I think it's a 1 or 2 point match.
I was going to say probably like 6-3 or 4.
I don't even know if it would be a 3 point spread. I would say less.
But I would put Brooks 100% over Starachi.
That's tough when you're practice partners basically in the same room because you
And
get
he's
to
2
learn
weight
on
classes above you.
Well, he's been 1 weight class above him, but this is also pound for pound. So we're saying just wrestling capabilities alone. Brooks also only has 3 career losses.
So that's more than
by 1.
I don't know.
But he doesn't have a 50 match win streak.
That's because of those losses. Yeah.
If Brooks didn't lose last year, I would say that would be a huge push up for him. But like he takes those, and we talk about this. Brooks takes a random weird loss every now and then. You're like, what the heck happened there?
But it snaps him into like overdrive, and then he just is untouchable afterwards.
His loss before that was to Miles Amin.
Yeah.
At Big Tens, right? And then he avenged it.
Yep.
So if he didn't lose last year and went undefeated, I would say there'd be a huge case for Aaron Brooks to be the number 1 guy. But he's losing to random dudes every now and then. And it's incredibly rare. But he's still taking those losses that Carter isn't taking. Carter is consistent. And even though he's not a big point scorer, as we've talked about, there's
are you saying that being undefeated is the most important criteria in being pound for pound?
I think it's one of them. I don't know about most important.
Because you guys are really stressing his win streak and the fact that he hasn't lost to these. He hasn't beat, like the guys he's beating are not as good.
Well, they're still all Americans though.
But they're not as many.
But they have a higher placing.
Okay.
A higher average placing of all Americans.
I bet if Aaron Brooks went 174, he would have beat the same guys.
Aaron Brooks would have had to remove part of his leg to make 174. He would have died.
Yeah.
But wait, I want to circle back to when we talked about if Aaron Brooks was to wrestle Carter in practice, and we think it's like maybe a 3 point match at best in Aaron's favor. That's pound for pound right there. He's going up 2 weight classes, and he's still incredibly competitive with a guy going for his 4th national title, possibly
Well,
an
this is
overtime
all
guy.
speculation. This is all
But that's what I'm saying. I'm hypothesizing.
Yeah. Hypothesizing.
No.
Putting stats aside, I do agree with Mike in the sense that I think Aaron Brooks performs better on the world stage.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The talent is
Yeah,
there.
against better guys, he's
The
performing
talent is
better.
there. I think Aaron Brooks is more talented than Strachey, but Strachey has given me no reason to believe that he doesn't deserve that number 1 spot.
What reason has he given you that he does deserve it?
Dude doesn't
In the
lose.
finals.
He doesn't lose.
Again, is that the only criteria that matters? That he's undefeated?
Won by pin in
All
the
these
finals.
other guys have lost.
Okay.
I don't think
O'Toole's
anybody else
lost
here pin.
2 matches to the guy that's number 5, 5, and 3 on these pound for pounds.
Wait, can we talk about Vito? Vito's not getting any love here. I had him as number 3. Mike, you have him as number 4.
I had him as number 3, but then after talking to you earlier, I moved Strachey up. I had Strachey at 4 originally.
I think
Vito
Vito
should definitely be higher.
Vito honestly, I could see a case for Vito even being number 1.
So,
Just
hold on.
projecting forward of what we think he's gonna do.
You can make the case that Vito, who's beaten only besides this past year where he beat Fix and RBY, the 2-time champ, you can make the stretch that he could be first, but it's outlandish that Brooks, who has 1 loss, could be number 1.
No, I don't think it's outlandish. I think there's a case for everyone here, but I think
Dayton Fix should be number 1.
Pound for pound, best guy at not winning.
I mean, listen,
match of this tournament.
You could do it purely based on placement, and then Strachey and Brooks are 1 and 2, clearly 3-time NCAA champions. Those arguably could be number 1 and 2.
I mean, I've gone back and forth with O'Toole and Brooks being 1, 2. Like I it depends on what time of day. I'll
Strachey.
No,
I kind of see Vito as higher as well because this last season was incredible for him. He beat Fix and RBY in back-to-back matches, and it wasn't like he snuck by. Like, he majored.
right.
And then he went on to dominate to his way to a world title, senior level world title, not U23s or juniors.
So all the things you're highlighting are the same things I was highlighting for Brooks, and you were downplaying in favor of Strachey.
Well, Brooks hasn't beaten a 2-time NCAA champion.
Brooks was expected to win the last 3 years. I mean, even the year that got canceled because of COVID, he was the 1 seed for NCAAs.
Yeah.
Like, there's never been a time where he was the come from behind guy. He never had a crazy deep bracket where he was like, oh my gosh, like, except for when he wrestled Amin. And even then it wasn't, he just rode the shit out of him. He had like 5 minutes of
never had a crazy deep bracket.
Because they're afraid of him.
That's not a valid argument. They're afraid.
I mean, until proven otherwise.
Arguably, this year you could say is a stacked bracket because Mekai Lewis is a national champ, Shane Griffiths is a national champ, Chris Voca is a 3rd place.
Okay, I mean it's the deepest he's had in his 4 seasons, I guess.
And if he wins it, then does that change your tune?
I mean, I don't know if it's going to change my tune over O'Toole or Brooks.
Really? Okay.
I think what you're forgetting
is O'Toole still has a super deep weight. We did a poll asking what's the deepest weight out there. No one has been yelling 174 is the deepest weight out there. People are saying 133, 165, not heavyweight.
I saw the not heavyweight one.
Yeah, not heavyweight. So like 74 is not the weight that people think, oh, that's a really deep weight. Like, okay, yeah, they have those top guys, but like it's not the deepest weight. Like if this was a high school level thing, would you say a guy that has like a 50 match win streak against JV is better than a varsity guy?
Whoa.
I'm not saying that the guys that Strachey's beaten are JV, but like I think
what you're forgetting about is that he pinned Mikey Labriola on his own will.
Labriola put himself on his back. He didn't turn him.
Hey, a pin is a pin.
He willed it to
I'm not
happen.
saying it wasn't a pin, but it's not like he turned the guy and pinned him.
He didn't need to. He was playing. He was in his head. He was like, "I'm gonna make him go to his back."
I'm gonna make him Granby roll to his back, and I'll
What
just
was I
hold
gonna
it
say,
there.
though? I think that last year's results as well, though. Thinking about the Hodge. Carter was a Hodge finalist, and a lot of these guys on the list can't say that. And I
I think he
think
took
that
second place too.
he did. And one of the most important criteria, which disqualified a ton of guys, was the undefeated streak.
That's true.
Even the Hodge campaign, because we saw, okay, Vito can't be on there, Yanni can't be on there, Aaron Brooks can't be on there. Some of the three of the guys that are on this list, Keegan O'Toole couldn't be on there, David Carr couldn't be on there. All the guys
we
below
said they
Carter
couldn't, but technically they could win it. There's been Hodge Trophy winners that had
I think
losses.
they changed the criteria though. I don't think you can have a loss. I think it's
No, it doesn't say you have to be undefeated. Record
Well,
is something highly considered.
Yeah.
But my
So
point
if you
is,
have a loss,
point,
it's a deterrent from you.
Yeah.
It's not
the point
like
still
it's
stands is that
required.
everybody on the list after Carter had a loss.
Yeah.
And he was number 2 in the Hodge rankings last year. People are already talking about Carter for Hodge. I don't know if it'll happen, but if people are already talking about that prior to the season, that's a good indicator of, pound for pound dominance, in my opinion.
I love how you say people have been talking when you commented on one of our videos.
People are saying it. There's
Yeah, you are the people that are saying it.
People.
Although
I
think a lot of people actually agree with you on that.
I
I
don't
think
know
I said
why.
it as a joke too. Yeah, I was like Carter for Hodge, and I was like, just left the comment to do its thing. I got like 6 likes.
I don't think that he's going to win the Hodge.
I think Vito's probably going to win the Hodge.
Because he doesn't have the biggest bonus percentage, and even if you look, especially against All Americans, he doesn't bonus All Americans. So I don't think that he's gonna win the Hodge. I feel like if even if Wyatt Hendrickson could go undefeated and have the season he had last season and win the title, he'd be in my opinion, a more of a favorite for the Hodge than Starachi.
I think Vito's going to win the Hodge.
No, Vito definitely could, especially if he doesn't.
Point scoring has been insane. If he doesn't lose and he keeps that incredible bonus rate that he's been showing, it's going to be tough to vote against.
Well, here's the interesting thing, because when you look back on the legacies of these guys, Aaron Brooks, he definitely has a very distinguishable style about him. Vito does too. So does Keegan O'Toole, a very funky wrestler. Carter's just like a solid wrestler. I don't think there's anything that really
it's not like he's got the Jordan Burroughs double. It's like he's going to go out there and be hard to score on, and then he might score eventually.
I mean, he's just a good wrestler. He's a great wrestler. That's it. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing.
It's wild to think, and it's in the same topic of legacies. It's wild to think that Penn State might have 2 4-time national champions. And if you look at their list of guys that have wrestled there, including David Taylor, who is a 2-timer, Jason Nolf, Bo Nickel, and Zane Rutherford, there were 3-timers. Ed Ruth, that these guys, none of these guys got the 4-time. And all of them, at least with Rutherford, Nickel, and Nolf, I believe all lost as freshmen.
Right.
Yeah.
So the senior one was kind of like the foregone conclusion. If Carter and Aaron both win, that'd be wild to have 2 more 4-timers.
Well, I mean, technically Aaron Brooks already had his 4th season this past year.
Well, Carter is technically going to be able to go for 5.
Yeah, if he wanted to, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, we've seen David Taylor lose it in his senior year. So
no, David Taylor wasn't a senior that year.
Yeah, he was a junior.
Oh, junior year. Never mind.
Yeah. No one knows the year after he lost to Dake. They're like, he would end up being only a 2-time national champ. But I feel like everyone that thinks David Taylor's he was the greatest college wrestler ever.
Yeah, that's because of his post.
Well, career. I think it's also worth mentioning, because we take a lot of heat in the comments talking about Starachi. Everyone was saying Spencer Lee was going to win it last year, and I'm sure everyone was saying Nick Wazowski was going to win it, going for his third. And who was the other example I was giving?
Dayton Fix.
Dayton Fix.
Oh, RBY.
Yeah.
That's
Everyone
right, yeah.
thought RBY was going to win it, going for his.
I had the right weight class, just the wrong name.
Yeah.
And well, look what happened. So especially going for your fourth title, it's so hard. It is so hard.
Yeah.
I don't doubt that they'll be able to do it, but it is so hard and challenging. So I don't
Yeah, I mean,
know.
it only takes one match to ruin that
I mean,
whole.
look at Dan Gable.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at what happened to Spencer. I mean, we just talked about Spencer Lee, but like, I think it's a little bit different because as great as Spencer Lee is, and he's amazing, I think we all kind of like watched him every now and then and be like, wow, like he looked kind of tired in that match, even though he dominated. Like there were
Yeah.
matches where I was like, man, he like kind of looks really winded. And then I'm like, well, he's still kind of hurt, so maybe he's not like doing the full practicing, and he's kind of getting his conditioning back. But like all season, he was, crushing guys. But you're like, he just doesn't look the same.
Yeah.
Bad.
It's the knee pad. Yeah.
Hey, he's knee padless. I don't know if anyone saw the him and Bo Bassett are training together at the Olympic training center, and he is clean knees.
Hey.
Yeah. So who knows? This 57 kilo world team trial is gonna be wild next year.
So I also had one major difference on your pound for pound versus mine was Levi Haynes.
Yeah. What's up with that? My man's name is
Levi Haynes. He's only beaten 2 All-Americans.
my man's name is
Well,
Pants
he's a
Underwear.
freshman. I mean, give
He
him
also
his
took
time.
second comparatively to others. Like I feel like he'll probably move up in the list, but right now I don't see him higher than these other guys.
I wish we put career win loss records because then that would give maybe a little bit more context.
Next
'Cause
time.
it's hard to rank a freshman on this.
Well, I mean, yeah,
because,
we can update that for next time.
but I mean, I think we're pretty in sync with the top seven. So Cat Guy's in above Dayton Fix. That makes sense. I
Yeah.
had Levi Haynes as number 8. I mean, I'm not married to that, but
Yeah.
I also think
I mean, I just it was like Levi Haynes over Real Woods. I think Real Woods should be ahead of him.
I don't support that. I think Real Woods hasn't done anything. I mean,
he took second and
6th.
second and sixth.
yeah, but who did he wrestle in the finals?
Andrew Lira, who went
And
undefeated.
who did Levi Haynes wrestle in the finals?
O'Connor, 2-time NCAA champion.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, 2-time champion. That's true.
But Alirez very well could be a 2-time NCAA.
He could. Alirez could.
Lira's
Yeah,
could also
for
be an
sure.
Olympic champion.
For sure, for sure. But he's not yet.
So,
He's not yet, though.
Honestly,
That's what I'm saying.
Where would we put Alirez on this list? That's probably a good question.
ooh, I'd probably have Lira's as like 5.
I was gonna say top 6. I would say maybe bump out Kekaisen and put him there.
I was gonna put him maybe above Carr.
Really?
I was thinking that too.
I don't know. I have a lot of respect for David Carr. I feel like he's
Yeah.
constantly in these close matches. He's only, besides Keegan, and he's just he wins a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, he beat Keegan 2 out of 3 times last year. I mean, none of them were when it mattered, except for the one.
Hey, Big 12. He's the Big 12 champ.
He is a Big 12 champ. I think David Carr. Yeah, I don't know. I would have a hard time putting.
Struggling with that.
Yeah, well, because we have Keegan as number 2 on our list, and if David Carr's only losing to him, really, I would have a hard time being like, oh well, he beat Real Woods, and Real Woods is number 9. I don't know.
But Alirez was right in the mix for Hodge as well.
I think
because
Alirez
because of
got
his
shafted,
bonus,
but like
his,
if it went
yeah,
to Alirez, it wouldn't have been outlandish in my opinion.
he had like highest rate for something. Well, do you remember what it was? It wasn't highest bonus rate. It was like highest like domination score or something.
It was a dominant score.
Yeah, something like that.
You know,
Also,
I kind of
Jack,
fault this competition, but
I'm gonna try to pull it up. The poll that we did for pound.
Oh yeah, that's right. The Cactus Wrestling poll.
Yeah, so in the Cactus Wrestling pound for pound poll, there was 147 votes, and the The 5 names that were put in the poll were Keegan O'Toole, Vito Arujau, Aaron Brooks, David Carr, and Carter Strachey. So Carr got 2% of the vote. O'Toole got 7%. Brooks got 20%. Strachey got 25%. And with a commanding 46%, Vito Arujau, the people have spoken. Vito going up that high. Now, I mean, based on his performance, like, yeah,
That's why I was saying earlier, I could see it. Him being.
I could see it, but at the same time,
It's hard to ignore the stats.
There were some good comments about that, though. I mean,
yeah,
people said, one guy goes, Vito has been amazing, but I gave it to Carter because he's been consistent for so long. Another guy, Carter, simply because he's only lost to 2 people and beat them both multiple times and is a 3-time champ. And though he hasn't had the depth at 133 or 165, he's been so far ahead of the pack the whole time. But someone else agrees. They go, probably the world champion Vito. And then a very interesting hot take where a guy goes AJ Ferrari.
AJ, how you throwing AJ?
No respect to the name. He's only won a national championship.
Yeah, he's probably has yeah. He has won a national championship. I can't take that away from him. You're right.
I mean, O'Toole has recovered and beat the guy that beat him 2 out of 3 of his losses. The other guy graduated, so he didn't get a chance to.
I think David Carr beats him this year.
You don't think David Carr beats O'Toole this year?
I said I think David Carr is going to beat him this year.
Oh yeah, I think they're going to swap matches
like 3 times again.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that David Carr is going to beat him twice, and then in the finals, it's going to be Mitchell Messenbrink both in a handicap match, taking on both of them at the same time.
In a handicap match?
Brutal. Yeah, it's 2-on-1 tag team, and Mitchell
coming off of his red shirt.
Yeah,
he's gonna come in
and put Mitch Messenbrink on this list.
Mitchell Messenbrink is gonna have like Austin 316 Stone Cold music when he comes in with the glass breaking. He's gonna walk in and he's gonna physically burn a red shirt and then walk onto the mat.
Physically burn a red shirt.
And that's how it's gonna be. He's gonna be like walking to the NCAA finals just like that. And then like, you can't just do that. He's like, I'll take you both on. Yeah. After not wrestling all season. That's what I predict happens.
Yeah, that should be that here first.
When someone comes out of their red shirt, they should physically burn a red shirt.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Come on, there needs to be more fans
that side, throw it in the fire.
I tell you, I had wrestling needs more fanfare to avoid things like this. Like at work today, I was talking to this kid. He's not a kid, he's in his 20s. He's like, oh, you coach wrestling, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah. He's like, what's that like? Is it tough? And I go, well, yeah, it's kind of tough. He's like, let me ask you. And he gets kind of close. He goes, how do you guys fake the chair shot? And I go, what are you talking about, bud? And he's like, like when you hit someone with a steel chair, like, how do you guys like sell that? And I was like, dude, like, I coach youth in high school. Like, we don't do that. He's like, oh, like a wrestling academy? And I'm like, what do you think we're talking about? So to avoid that, real wrestling needs more fanfare.
Yes, it does.
Where like you need to have Cael Sanderson, who's incredibly soft spoken, just like grab a mic and point out to like Tom Brands and be like, "You're going down, punk," and then like drop it and then run and rush the stage and slide in. Like that's what wrestling needs.
I feel like the Brands would be better at that than Cael would.
They would. I mean, you saw the Brands last year. They had the shoe. And they were going like finger guns. I mean, they need that.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, we're not coming to any sort of consensus here. Drop a comment down below. Who do you think are the pound for pound? I mean, we did the poll. I know
once the season gets going, I think it'll kind of become clearer. Yeah, especially if these guys take a loss.
Well, I don't know. You think if Keegan O'Toole?
I don't think all 12 of these guys are going undefeated.
I would say, well, you definitely can't have a few of them because
of the same Carr and O'Toole, one of them is going to have a loss.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like when some of these guys take a loss, like it's going to change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Danelle Washington upsets Carter Strachey.
Yeah, we can't out. I mean, I'm not writing off anyone because I was burned last year with RBY and I won't let it happen again. So make sure
burned by Spencer Lee.
Well, I didn't
I
really.
was going nuts during
So.
that. I was going absolutely insane watching that in my house. I was
I
texting
also didn't
my
watch that one live,
I
so
was I was
I watched that one live.
that's your like, hey, where were you in time moment when it's like I remember watching that live. It's what I'm gonna tell my grandkids, and they'd be like, Dad,
I was
like
here.
Spencer Lee's won like 6 world titles since then. Like that's not that cool anymore.
Who cares? Yeah.
it was to you at that point.
Yeah, it was to me.
So yeah, make sure you drop a comment, like the video, subscribe, and thanks for watching. As always, this is Cactus Wrestling.
Thanks for watching. We are Cactus Wrestling, and we'll see you next time on our next video.